That is the sound of the jar of names. We should get out a name. This video is for everyone, including but not excluded to Horia. Right, back in the jar of names, that name goes, soon to be brought out on Cup of Adventure. But welcome to A Cup of Tea and a Podcast. This is the cup of tea. And this is the podcast. Right, so there might be there, it might not be there, but there should be a skip list in the comment section where you can skip to this week's update, this week's topic, this week's question, or this week's goals. But if it's not there, there might be one from Max Ravage. So thank you very much for doing them skip lists. They're a lot more detailed than mine. But we're going on to the update first, I guess. So, update. So I seem to have gotten my mojo back, really. We're still behind, but I've got sort of like, I really want to get caught up. Like, I was thinking about it last night, and I had like one of them things where you can't sleep and you sort of like, yeah, what's the word? What's the word? Philosophize? Philosophize. What's the word? Yeah, it is actually philosophize. It doesn't sound right. Yeah, but I ended up doing that, so I was sort of like thinking about, I'm behind on the videos, and obviously you start to think like, life is too short, you know, that sort of thought thinking. So I sort of got my mojo back from that, thinking, I've got to get caught up, so that's what I seem to be doing. And I seem to be doing all right. We're doing better than what we did than last podcast. Still not there, but I'm in the mood where I feel like we will be this week because, yeah, I've got my mojo back, basically. One of the reasons why I think this might happen as well is because I've decided not to record anything until I'm caught up, which means I want to get caught up by next week at the latest. So hopefully soon than earlier. But we'll talk about when I want to get caught up later on in goals, but that's what's happening. Also, I mentioned last week as well about retiring the podcast. I think I've made the decision to actually do that because I've planned out the successor of the podcast. And I'm pretty sure that it's the best thing for it. Basically, it's going to be not a podcast anymore. It's going to sort of be more of a... Maybe I could keep it a surprise, I suppose. But it's going to be like a spiritual successor. It's going to keep the main sort of like the beats that this podcast has, but it's going to be more of a video series itself. And hopefully you'll appreciate it a lot more, and we'll do some more things with it and evolve it and make it better, basically. The other thing is as well, I want to talk about this week is I want to start some new games. I've got two that I want to play. One I've got, and it's a new game that I want to play. And then I've got one that I want to play, but I haven't got yet. So I'm trying to work out how to do it. I'm pretty sure that soon, when I get caught up, so it won't be after the next podcast, it might be, because I've only got the next lot of videos to upload. No, what is it? Yeah, the next lot of videos are the last ones I've got recorded, so I haven't got the ones after that. So I think what I might start doing is I might start the university schedule we had, where it was like 40-minute episodes, but only like 3 a week. But I might start doing that, but while we're still in the holidays, I might do these 2 extra games as well in a week. So like 40 minutes of the new one, then next week it'll be the next one, or something like that. Maybe something similar. I'm also debating about how to do like all these sort of videos in terms of like how I'm going to make the gaming videos and what direction I'm going to take them in. And I've been doing a lot of research, which I'm going to get onto later in the question, so I hope you'll stick around for that. But let's move away from the other now. You're pretty much up to date. Just my thoughts that have been going around at the moment, and then we'll go on to the topic, which is where I read off the names of the videos coming up before the next podcast. Right, so we have the podcast right now. Guten Tag. We are speaking to you now as a podcast. We're going to have a Dark Chronicle video, which is going to be called Red Dragon or Secret Volcano Lair or Dragon Egg. I'm not sure which one to go for. All of them sort of revolve around the same sort of thing. We're in a volcano. We deal with dragons. It's going to be one of them. I'm actually thinking maybe Dragon Egg, because I'm thinking I like that one better. Yes. Then we're going to have another Dark Chronicle video called Necromancy, which is going, obviously, I sort of theorise about the people in the volcano. You know, that thing I do where I try to think about why they're there. So Necromancy comes into that, so you'll obviously check it out when you see it, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Then we'll have a Fable 2 video. I'm not sure what to call it yet. I'm going to call it either Oakvale or Colour, or something to do with those that I actually say in the video, because I'm not too sure what I said. But I'm thinking something to do with the colour, and you can probably guess what we're doing if you know the DLC that we're playing. It has something to do with colour. So yeah, we're doing something in that. Then after that, we'll have a Dark Chronicle video called The Red Sea, my favourite title of the week, because we do something very similar to what happens with the Red Sea in the Moses storyline, or the Prince of Egypt, whichever you want to read, whichever version you've read, or seen, or watched. Yeah, it's a little bit of a twist because it's not water, and it's cool. I love it. And then after that, we've got another one called Unwanted Family Heirloom, which is, well, we get an unwanted family heirloom, and we don't really want to use it, but we have it anyway, because, we do. And then after that, we'll have a Fable 2 pointing video, and this one's called Snow Globe. Again, if you know the DLC we're doing, you know what pointing, where I'm doing the pointing. It's in a snow globe, which will make sense after you've watched those videos if you've never seen it. And then after that, we've got 2 Dark Chronicle videos, very story-heavy ones, and the story's getting really good so far. But this one's called Excuse Me, Princess, because it's a Star Wars reference. And then after that, we'll have another Dark Chronicle video called Raving Rabbits, because we see a rabbit that goes crazy, and it's like, the Raving Rabbits, the Ubisoft thing. And then after that, we will have a Fable 2 video. It's called Walking the Dog. This one I'm not too happy with myself, and I know I shouldn't really say that because I should be like, yeah, it's the greatest thing ever, go watch it. But I'm not too happy with it because I keep a lot of walking in, hence the name Walking the Dog. But we're doing it's just part of the story. We're doing the actual story, but it's a lot of walking, and I feel like I need to change that slightly. And that's something I've actually just found out with all my videos. Each game is different to how I'm going to record it. Like Dark Chronicle is a completely different game to Fable 2, and there's a lot of different things that you can cut out and how you sort of going to edit it together. When I say you, I mean I'll be editing it together, but you know what I mean. How we will experience it in the form of videos. But yeah, I'll talk about that later. And then we'll have a pointing video for for Dark Chronicle, called Heimrada. Guess which area we do the pointing in. Indeed. Also, a little bit of an update for the houses that people have wanted. Horia, you have your house in Heimrada. I've done it. It's an iron house, basically, but I can put that down. So it looks a bit out of place, but I think it's quite fun because it's like, we're sort of incorporating the community into the actual game we're playing, plus it's also like, we're not just stick to one house. We've got like one. It doesn't look out of place, to be fair. It looks quite nice. But you've got an iron house on a little platform, and it's technically the biggest, not the tallest, but the biggest, and it is your colour that you wanted. So you've got your house, Horia, and also there was somebody else, I think it was Max Ravage, wanted a red house in a nice area. So I'll put you in Venecchio, because I think it looks the best there, because I couldn't put you in the other two because one's full, and the other one, it would ruin the heights of the platforms. So I'll put you in a Venecchio because it's a seaside town. I've given you a brick house, so it looks different to the others, but it looks okay because I painted it red like you wanted, and I think it looks quite nice. So theorycraft your stories behind what's going in the houses, what you're there in that place for. But of course, if you want another Dark Chronicle house, let me know, and I'll add it in if I can. Spaces might be limited though, because I think I probably only have one more house in each area. Okay, but let's move on now. Sorry about that, talking a lot. I haven't done a proper pointing one in the daytime where I could talk normally in a while, so I like to discuss things. Right. So community now then. So not a big community section this week, so that'll probably, work out for me talking a lot at the beginning. But we've got Mention Monday. These are the people that commented on last week's videos. Only got 3 names this week, so we've got the golden trio here. We've got Horia, Overlord Master, and Max Ravage. So thank you all for commenting this week on the videos, and I look forward to seeing you next week, and maybe some more names next week of people that obviously missed this week's podcast. That's what I mean. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Right, Q&A. No Q&A this week, so we'll move swiftly on. Again, ask me questions if you want to ask me anything. I do not mind. Subscribers, last week we were at 1,385. We've gone up 2 names this week to 1,387. Although I think, just before I started this, I think we've got 2 new subscribers, but we'll discuss them in the next podcast, where we'll add them names in. But welcome anyway if you're here. No new names to add to the list. It's just unknown subscribers. Right, so question now then. So last week's question was about something which I can't remember. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, what did you think of the Sticky Chicken video? And we have one response this week from Overlord Master who says, I like the style that you're doing to answer the question from the podcast. And yes, I'm glad you liked it, because I liked it as well. It's definitely a step in the right direction for what I want to do on Cup of Adventure. And I'm sort of, like I said, focusing on catching up with the Let's Plays videos first, because I don't want to fall behind with that. So get that done, and then I'll focus on doing the Cup of Adventure stuff. And then after I've all caught up, that's when I'm going to start to implement the changes that I want to make, like I've already mentioned already. So yeah, so thank you for letting me know that you like the Overlord Master. We will carry on now and go on to this week's question. So, I made a mistake in about 2 podcasts ago when I said check out Dark Chronicle videos, because I've edited them in a slightly different way, so I wanted you to just let me know. I was wrong. It wasn't that week. It was last week's where the videos were in. So if you want to go and check out particularly Dark Chronicle episode 84, Cartography, that's where the new editing technique has been implemented. So go and check it out if you can. Has anybody checked it out yet? 7 people have viewed it, but no comments or anything, so I don't know. But yeah, if you go and check it out and let me know what you think of the new editing technique, and obviously feedback to me, let me know what you think of that. I think it's quite a good one. It seems to be quicker. I could do 2 dungeons instead of 1 in one episode now, and all I'm doing is cutting out like the boring stuff like walking, where nothing would have happened, and I keeping in pretty much everything, but still cutting out just like these little bits that all seem to add up, and I can do it a lot faster. So let me know what you think. I think it's a good thing. However, because there's not many questions this week in terms of Q&A, I might thought I might add a few more questions for you. I'm thinking about doing because obviously I want to be like a documentary maker or work on dramas in terms of like future for me. And I like to do a lot of documentaries. The one I did, I don't know if anyone's seen it on Digital Distinction, where I followed guerrilla filmmaking and what it actually is. I was really proud of how it turned out, and that's the sort of direction I want to sort of try. I want to get my hands dirty with some more documentaries, so I want to make it like a short one, like less than 10 minutes for a couple of adventure down the line, and I want to try and pick a topic to talk about. I've got a few reasons going on at the moment, but the one that's sort of big in my head at this time is I might do something where it's to do with me doing my research for how to make better gaming videos and stuff, because I've done a lot of research and it's very interesting to see, particularly because this is like good for YouTube sort of stuff as well, because I'm looking at Jesse Cox's videos and his normal Let's Play videos, such as like what I'm doing, they only seem to get on average about 30,000 views, and then whereas other videos where say he's doing a collab with someone, it goes up to all the way to 100,000. So, and there's some other things where like he does like his Fan Friday videos where it's a single game in one contained episode. They get up to about 100,000 views as well. So there's definitely a correlation where you can see that more numbered Let's Play episodes are less popular than the others. So that's something I want to sort of include in that documentary, maybe, because that's what I'm doing. So I can sort of put it into a nice little fun video where it's sort of analysing the sort of media on YouTube, which is sort of obviously what I studied for at college and going to do something similar to at uni. So that's what I think it might be a good idea to do, just because it's a quick one to do for now. But obviously, I've got some other ideas as well. Like I wanted to do something about historical accuracy, where looking at how accurate textbooks are, because obviously the winner always writes the history. So I want to do something like that. There was an idea I had where it was something about not drinking, because I don't drink alcohol. So I thought maybe that would be a good thing to talk about. But then I wanted to do something to do with history as well. Why I don't like reviews, I thought was going to be a good one as well, and as well as some other things as well. But that's what I wanted to ask you as well. In fact, there's one more question, but we'll do that in a second. Yeah, so the two questions this week. Let me know what you think of the Dark Chronicle editing style and the documentary topic. Do you think the one talking about the YouTube analysis type one I just mentioned about is a good idea? And obviously I talked about it for a while there, but I'll make a proper script when I do that. And one more question this week, just to tie it off, is I'm looking at YouTube, like I said, the YouTube gaming videos and seeing how I'm able to do. And it seems to be now that the sort of style that I do is more popular on Twitch. So I'm thinking of doing like a Twitch, focusing more on like Twitch for my gaming stuff. It doesn't mean I'll stop doing video games on YouTube. What I'll probably do is I'll probably keep a copy of that live stream that I've done, then upload it onto YouTube. So I know Horry was like, he feels like he should be there when it's live, and he doesn't like that feeling. So obviously that way around, it'll still be uploaded onto YouTube, but it'll obviously be in a different style. It'll be a lot longer than what I'm doing now, but it's just a discussion I'm looking at. So I thought I'll ask your opinion as well, just to see where everyone's brain is at in that sort of sense. Anyway, let's stop that now, because we've probably been talking for a while. Oh no, maybe not actually, maybe not. Okay, cool. Let's go on to this week's comment then this week. So it's more of a theme because there's multiple people involved, and it's just a big thing that's all been going on. But basically, last week it went to, was it Max? Who was it last week? I don't think it was Max Ravage, but there was one where I mentioned Max Ravage talking about his skip list. So this week it's gone again to Max Ravage because he has done a skip list, but that's not the reason why. The reason why is because Overlord Master replied to it saying, start every skip list with #skiplist. And this is a thing that Overlord does. He does a lot of skip hashtags. And so Max Ravage is going to do that from now on. So I've deemed Overlord Master is now the social media consultant, because he's the one that keeps doing all the hashtags, and that's where it's at nowadays. That's what the kids are doing. The hashtagging, the reblogs and stuff. Yeah, but also it goes to Max Ravage as well, because he's done another skip list, so your chief skip list maker, because you do them a lot better than what I do. But yeah, that's why this week's theme, because it was a nice little sort of discussion. Okay, so we're pretty much done then, yeah. So last week's what film? I can't remember what it was. Let me check my list. It was Why Do You Say That Name? And Overlord Master got it right. It is Batman versus Superman. I don't know why I chose that. I think it's because I was going through a Batman phase. I was like watching a lot of Batman clips from like the animated series, and oh yeah, it's because I caught up with Gotham. That's what I did. There is a reason. See, there's always a reason. But yeah, congratulations, Overlord Master. Next is T, which I've just finished anyway, so I don't need to do that. But yeah, so that's it then. I know a lot of questions this week, but like I said, hopefully moving quite fast now and catching up and actually planning some better ideas for videos. But let me know what you think. And yeah, so until the next time we meet, I will say farewell. Oh no, I didn't do goals. We'll do that now then, before we carry on. So goals then. It was a fail. I said to get caught up by Friday. It's Sunday, so it's not too bad. And it's definitely a lot better than last week, because what it seemed to be every Thursday I was doing a podcast, so I wasn't really catching up. I was just doing it every week on a different day. But now, obviously, I've done it before a week, and it's done it 4 days after? Yeah, 4 days after, so it's a lot quicker than what it was, which means we have made progress in catching up. I just need to not fall now and get over the last hurdle and get caught up. And the plan is to get the next podcast up by Thursday, so that we'll pretty much be caught up, and I just have to upload next week's videos on the 4 days before we get to do the next podcast. So which means it's possible, it's in our sights now, getting caught up. So yeah, it could happen. So that's the goal, but I do plan, hopefully, depending on rendering times, to get the podcast up before Thursday. But I'm going to say Thursday, just to cover myself. The only problem is rendering times, about when I can render. But we'll see what happens. We'll just go with now. Live in the now. Cool. Right, but that isn't now then, so until next time we meet, I'll say farewell, and I'll leave you with... what film? Keep moving forward.